getting back out on the field. We got a couple early practices in last week with the bye week. As a staff, we were able to kind of go through, evaluate where we are in all three phases. Right now, I feel really good about the energy of our team. Coming off our first big work day today, the guys were moving around pretty well. And I know they're excited about the opportunity to go play up in Baltimore in front of our Baltimore fan base. We're going to face a really good Penn State team, a team that Coach Franklin has playing pretty well. Even though they had a little setback last week, they've been playing pretty good football in all three phases, and I expect them to give us everything they have on Saturday, and we're excited about the opportunity.
Mike, with Penn State, what are obviously there's probably recruiting implications with this game, but also in terms of all the rivalry talk last year, is that something that's on your guys' mind in terms of pushing a potential rivalry forward with this game?
Rivalries take some time. Obviously, we're pretty new in the conference. Fortunately for us, we were able to maybe get a jump last year with the win. But it'll take some time to build this thing into the rivalry that I'm sure our fans and would like to see. But rivalries are usually started with being competitive on the field, and I think we got a pretty good start last year with coming away with the win up in a tough place to play.
Coach, their quarterback Christian Hackenberg, what have you seen on tape? What impresses you about what they do with them, and what becomes more of a priority for your defense against a guy?
Well, the big thing with Hackenberg is, he can make all the throws. He's a big, strong, prototypical pro-style quarterback, really strong arm. He's able to make every throw in the passing game. The big thing with him, he's pretty accurate as well. For us, we've got to do a great job of getting him off his spot. He's one of those guys that if you allow him to sit back there, he'll pick you apart. So we've got to do a pretty good job of mixing pressure and making him move off that spot and try to get him to have to throw on the run and move the pocket a little bit. They do a pretty good job protecting him with how they call the game. A lot of quick passing game stuff to get the ball out of his hand, and again, he's pretty accurate.
Coach, just straight up, what changes have you made in the past 9 days, I guess, and what are your emotions going into this game, walking the sideline, being a head coach again on game day?
Well, the big thing with the changes for us is obviously, when you have the change that took place a week ago, you don't want to try to do too much. I think what I've tried to focus on as a staff, what we've tried to focus on, is the mindset of our team. These guys are still young men, and what we really worked on is just the mindset part of understanding that sometimes life throws you curveballs, and what you got to do is keep pressing forward. The thing we've tried to emphasize with our guys is go out and have fun. We've got the underdog mentality. Right now, I'm sure there are not many people that give us a chance to go out and have any success, but our guys are resilient, and we've got a pretty good core of players that I think you'll see on Saturday that will come out and play with the passion that our fans deserve. They'll come out and play hard, and the thing we've really just stressed is let's go out and have fun and play, football in its purest form, which is, back in the day when you played with your friends and you went in the backyard and you just let it all kind of cut loose. That's the mentality you want to play with because we really have nothing to lose as a program.
How about the second part of your mentality going in, being a head coach?
Well, for me, the big thing is it's all about the kids, and I'll continue to make it about the kids. Stepping into the role of leading the program, the next 6 weeks, obviously, there's some things that have to adjust with me, and our staff has done a really good job of picking up some of the slack with having me in and out of the meeting room with the offense, and then having to also play a role in making sure that the special teams and the defensive side of the ball are organized from the standpoint of preparing our players. But I don't expect it to be any different than any other game for me. As coaches, whether you're leading the program or you're a coordinator, the big thing is just going out and enjoying it, having fun with it. And that's what we'll do.
Coach, Ben Holmes, 105.7 fan. Could you speak to the importance on playing in Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium as it pertains to the importance on recruiting in the Baltimore area?
Well, number one, I know our players are excited about going up and playing in Baltimore. You know, any chance we have an opportunity to go and play before our Baltimore fan base, that's a great thing for our program and for the university. As far as recruiting, you know, we're in the Big Ten, and you know, I've been recruiting this area a pretty long time, and there's been a lot more people that come into this area now that are hitting it pretty well. You know, obviously a win against a good team like Penn State will have some effect and will help recruiting, but there's so many different programs that come in here to recruit because of the talent that's in this area. And I mean, again, we've got to continue to do our share and win our share of the battles, and we've got pretty good football in this area.
Coach, years ago you worked alongside James Franklin here. You're going up against him this Saturday. What impressed you working alongside him? What impresses you now game planning and coaching against him?
You know, the big thing, James has always been a real enthusiastic guy. He's a guy that's been very passionate from the times that we've worked together. You know, obviously, from afar, I've seen him, how he's matured and grown as a coach, and the success he's had as a head coach. You know, I've got a lot of respect for the job that he's done. You know, other than that, I'm excited about having a chance to go compete. You know, and it's not about James, it's more about those players and competing against Penn State. And, you know, our players, I know, are really excited about the opportunity. And again, you know, he's got them playing really well up there. And, you know, we've got to get our guys to come out and execute at a high level and, you know, see how it unfolds on Saturday.
Coach, you talked before about the need to tailor the offense to Perry's skill set, and the changes to the 2 deep this week would obviously suggest a more run-heavy game plan with Shane being the backup now and Derek at tight end. Is there some concern that Penn State obviously notices the same thing and that the offense could become one-dimensional like this?
I don't know where just moving Shane the quarterback makes us one-dimensional. I mean, those guys are going to have to throw the football. And I doubt that we'll just line up and be getting a single wing and just run the ball every play. We're going to have to throw the football at some point. So, you know, the good thing is the move of Shane had something to do, obviously. You know, Dax is a little banged up as a third quarterback, so we move Shane back to quarterback. You know, when you look at the hits that Perry took in the Ohio State game, I don't think that his mom will be really happy if we continue to let him get beat up like that. And so moving a guy that has a similar skill set like Shane does, and you know, Shane asked to be moved to fullback this summer, so you know, and then I asked Shane to move back to quarterback now, and you know, it gives us some depth there. That gives us a big body that has the ability to execute this offense. And again, it's the same thing we did last year with C.J. Brown. We'll still have some throws in there. We'll still be able to run it, but obviously we're running it matched to with the skill set of the guy that's out there, and I think that's Perry.
Mike, right here.
Right.
Yeah, on that. So there's been a lot of talk about how important the game is for recruiting. With that in mind, what's the thinking behind playing it in Baltimore instead of maybe having a home field advantage right here where it's safe?
Again, you know, earlier I said, you know, it's the same thing. You know, we have a passionate fan base, and we're fortunate to have the best of both worlds being located in between the DC and the Baltimore markets. And so, you know, anytime we get a chance to play within the state, and obviously playing up in Baltimore because of our proximity to DC, gives us a chance to go up and play in front of our passionate Baltimore fan base. Our players are excited about playing in a pro venue like M&T Stadium. You know, it's an opportunity for us to extend our brand throughout the state, and that's something I know that we want to do as a program. And, you know, again, it's going to be a great matchup and an opportunity to go up to Baltimore and play before, again, one of our passionate fan bases.
Coach, you talked earlier about making it more fun for kids. Could you give me some examples of what you've done, you know, either on the field and maybe in the team house to make it a little lighter for them?
Well, I mean, I think the big thing, and it's like I told the team, and hopefully let's not mistake having more fun as being undisciplined and not accountable for going out and playing the game of football the way we want it to be played. And let's not also mistake it for being that we weren't able or weren't having fun prior to this. I just think a team takes on the personality of its leader, and with me being the leader for the next 6 to 7 weeks, when your kids go through tough times, you need to lighten the mood up a little bit. And for us and for me, the big thing is I don't want our guys playing tight. I don't want them thinking they have to go out to play to win, to save people's jobs or to get a guy a job. Or, you know, I want them to go play football in its purest form, and that's what I've talked about, you know, each day with these guys. You know, the things we've done, you know, we've made things really competitive at practice. Every opportunity we get a chance to compete. You know, today we took the scout team offense and scout team defense and put the ball at the 10 and said it's 3rd and goal from the 10 and let them run 2 plays live against each other. Those guys haven't had a lot of work other than being the look team for both defense and offense, and they got excited about that, you know. Whether it's little things like playing music in the team meeting prior to the meeting, all the things that this generation likes to do, we're just trying to make sure that it's more of a mood than it is something that we're doing, you know, necessarily on the field. And I think it starts with me having a high energy about how you go about doing things like practice, and I think we've seen a little bit of a change, and we're excited now. We got to see it go, see it happen and work on Saturday.
I'm just going to do one more follow-up on that. How much do you look at this as an audition? I know you said it's about the kids, but if you have a legitimate shot of being, if not a coach here, then elsewhere, if this team is successful over the next 6-7 months.
I really am not going to concern myself about auditioning for a head coaching job. I won't politic for it. I think my only mission and my only job is to make sure these kids, especially the seniors, have an opportunity to go out and be as competitive as they can be the next 6 weeks, to go out and have as much fun, to play the game with as much passion as they can. You know, it's like we tell our players, you know, you don't look at the scoreboard until the end of the game. And for me, it's about Penn State. It's not about any other thing. It's not about trying to audition or work for my next job. I'm a big believer in work for the job you have and not for the one you want. And right now the job I have is to prepare these guys for Penn State. I like the effort and energy that these guys are giving us. We had a lot of, we've had 3 really good practices into it, and we're going to face a really good team in Penn State that's well coached. So, you know, we're excited about Saturday going out and compete. And again, like I said, play football in its purest form, where there's no pressure on us. We have nothing to lose. We're embracing that role.
Coach, right here. Along those same lines, with the bye week, with the change, obviously the first half of the season didn't go, you know, as you guys wanted it to. But did all this kind of work as a reset type of thing? And like you said, you don't have anything to lose, so it is almost like a different season. I mean, is that something that you guys can take advantage of? And is that something that you've really thought about in terms of guys, seniors, where this is kind of like a second season where everything that happened earlier is kind of behind that?
That's definitely one of the approaches that you have to take. And whether the change happened or not, you know, you've got to look at each game as a one-game season and not worry about what happened in the past and not look too forward in the future, and enjoy the present. And so enjoy the present. And so what we tried to do is, again, we're at the halfway point. We evaluated where we were in all 3 phases. We tweaked some things to tailor who we need to be to win the game against Penn State. That's where all the energy and focus has been, and that's where it'll remain for us.
Hey, Coach.
This is the second game in a row that you guys are facing a pretty talented defensive line. Carl Nassib's at the top of the leaderboards in pretty much every strategy. And what have you kind of seen every category? What have you kind of seen on film, and what are you kind of looking at with this defensive line, and how you guys can go after it?
Yeah, you know, their front 7 is one of the better front 7s, obviously. You know, with 95 being the nation's sack leader, he's going to draw some attention. You're right, we faced Bosa the week before, and let's not forget Michigan. They have pretty good defensive front 7 as well. So it doesn't get any easier in this side of the league. As I've said before, the east side of the Big Ten is one of the toughest divisions in football, and we know that we're going to face really good defenses and really good fronts. And what we've got to try to do is make sure we put together a plan that we don't allow a guy like 95 to wreck our game plan. So you'll see some things that we'll do, whether it's giving them extra attention with backs chipping them, tight ends chipping them, sprinting out, moving the pocket, to try to not allow him to wreck our game plan.
Coach, when you're right there. The game being up in Baltimore, I'm sure there are plenty of things that the guys or the coaches do when it's a home game that you might not be able to do there. What is it like, just mindset-wise, preparing guys to kind of go to a neutral field versus being on the field?
For us, luckily, we're close enough in proximity that it won't change anything. The only thing that'll change for us is the drive to a further hotel than when we drive right up the road to the Sheridan. So we'll do all of our meetings here on Friday like we do. We'll have a walkthrough here on Friday, and then we'll load the buses, go walk through M&T just to get a feel for the facility there, and then head to the hotel there that we're headquartered at. So the only difference for us, because of how we do our Fridays, is just a little longer bus ride up the road to Baltimore as opposed to going over to the Sheridan.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We hit terminus!